Chap Bettis, author of The Disciple Making Parent, and this is my audio blog, where I read some of my blog posts in audio format for your convenience. Well, in today's episode, we're going to be thinking about the question, what is a family pastor? As I travel around the country and speak at mid-sized churches, I've been introduced to those who have the title of family pastor. Interestingly, when I ask them to describe their responsibilities, I hear varied answers. In larger churches, the title is usually given to a young person who's responsible to minister to the youth and oversee the children's ministry. He also might be given the roles that accompany an associate pastor, but his primary responsibility is to oversee the children and youth. As one who has a heart for family discipleship and as a former lead pastor, I'd like to think this through. Might we be changing the name without changing the philosophy? Perhaps we should keep calling those who oversee youth and children's ministry what they are, which is a pastor of children and youth. But if we call a person a family pastor, then I would propose that it include an additional responsibility, the family. In one sense, all pastors are to be family pastors. God tells us that a pastor is to manage his own household well, seeing that his children obey him with proper respect. And of course, that's found in 1 Timothy 3:4. Godliness is lived out in the home, and this starts with the homes of the leaders. But if this is true for leaders, it is also true for the flock. The family is the first arena that I live out the gospel. Sin affects our homes, and godliness will play out in our homes also. So a family pastor will, in the spirit of Ephesians 4:12, equip the flock to live the gospel out in their homes and interactions throughout the week. If the church is small, then this might be one of the many hats that a lead pastor wears. But if possible, the church can ask a leader, whether paid or not, to initiate this ministry emphasis. And that brings us back to the paid family pastor. What I'm suggesting is that there are 3 different areas of ministry for a family pastor. One is individual equipping about God and godliness. In other words, the children's ministry or the youth ministry. But secondly, individual equipping of adults about the family. Equipping that helps the family glorify God the other 6 days of the week. This ministry is not aimed at children or young people, but aimed at helping strengthen marriages, parenting, and family discipleship. And a third area of ministry we might put in here is catalyzing family interactions. Well, what do I mean by that? The third type of equipping doesn't seek to equip individuals and then send them home to interact. Rather, this type of equipping seeks to facilitate and catalyze the growth right on the spot. This is the difference between a marriage class and a marriage retreat. Other examples could include teaching to both parents and teens with a guided discussion time afterwards. So I'm suggesting that if we call a person a family pastor, there might be 3 different areas for them to concentrate on. Well, if a family pastor takes on this responsibility, it raises the question of the how. A young man with young children may have the heart for the ministry, but he doesn't have the weight or authority and experience. A 42-year-old man with a problem teen has a hard time listening to a 32-year-old who only sees his son 1 night a week. The truth is that while we do have the powerful scriptures, we still minister best to those who are at the same stage or behind us in life. Thus, the best family pastor to equip families for the trials of family life is one who is actually living it. Perhaps his children are in the teen years or older. His family has weathered storms. He's able to speak to other parents with wisdom and authority. Well, what then of the enthusiastic 30-year-old hired to oversee the youth, but with a burden for the families? All is not lost. You don't have to wait another 10 years. You can facilitate ministry by finding a couple who fits the above description. Encourage them and give them a platform of ministry. Put resources in their hands that articulate things that they may do or they've done by intuition. Partner with them. The amount of teaching and shepherding they do depends on their gifting. You may even bring in help via proxy by having a video series and then letting that couple and other couples that you respect comment on it. You are equipping families to live the gospel in their homes, even while recognizing your youth. But the older family pastor who's in the middle of the child-rearing years has a perfect opportunity to equip other families to live out Christ-likeness in the home. The first title for a church leader is elder. Elder means older, meaning one who is an example, who's further down the road. As a person who's older, I have a responsibility to look beside me and behind me chronologically and see who I can shepherd. A church can and should give oversight of ministry to individuals. Children's ministry, youth ministry, men's and women's ministry, all of those are helpful. But if you're a family pastor, don't limit your ministry to this. Think about how you can equip the marriages and parents in your church. If you're young, catalyze the older saints. If you're in the midst of family life, gather others with you. A godly home adorns the gospel, displaying it to the world. Pastors, we need your help equipping us in this area. Thank you for listening to the Disciple Making Parent audio blog. If you'd like to find more resources to help you as a pastor equip your families, then visit thedisciplemakingparent.com. And if you enjoyed this episode, please tell someone else about the show and leave us a rating or review. Both of those small things help out a lot. Thanks for listening.